I'll just record this right now. Okay, so we are recording right now. Cannot minimize Zoom. Okay. Yeah, I'll first share my screen now. I'll go through my outlook on the market as well. Now, and the pairs that I'll be mainly focusing on will be EG, Euro USD, and probably Euro JPY or USD CAD as well. Okay, so the first thing that we'll be going through will be Euro USD because it's a very clean and simple pair to trade. So if you, wow, I got so much notification. Yeah. Okay, so eyeing out on GU, right? On EU, I'm actually looking for EU to actually rise all the way up to this zone. Bearing in mind the amount of imbalance over here, at the same time, the low highs and low lows, the amount of liquidity that was built over here. So this being an extreme order block, sorry, an extreme area of supply, point of interest somewhere around in this zone, you can actually expect for price to rise up to here, giving us about 170 pips. If an entry is taken right now, it will give you somewhere around 160, 150 pips. But regarding your RR, I'm not too entirely sure on how your R is going to be like because your placement of your SL will definitely going to be slightly huge, slightly bigger than the SL that I initially had, which was 2 pips over here. So that's it for EU. It's a very simple and straightforward pair. As of now, I'm still eyeing for longs. I'm not eyeing for shorts. Jumping over to EJ, I can actually see that. Okay, sorry. Just want to double confirm. Can everyone hear me clearly?
Can, but the background a bit sound type overtake.
Okay, right now?
Yeah, I think should be okay. Like maybe you just speak up a bit louder.
Okay, can. Sorry, because my mic was quite far away. Either way.
Yeah, no worries.
Okay, so if for EJ, right, it's a very repetitive pair, like if you actually notice, because I went through this over with Kiran yesterday night, and what we can actually see, right, through the multiple time frame analysis over at the daily and 4 hour, right, we can actually see this same exact setup from here all the way to here, right. They actually occurred multiple times, but actually, as to how you actually find a very precise entry, right, that will require studies on order block and area of supply and demand. So how I derived to my entry, right, was, okay, let me just bring here first, was actually through monitoring of structure and how this entire move it broke structure from these previous highs. So we can actually foresee continuation to the upside And as of where I was eyeing on my entries, right, was either here or below here, areas in which liquidity was collected. But in this case, I actually had 2 buy limits, one over here and one over here, just in case if this broke through, I can actually foresee that this entry might pull out. But because then again, if structure is being respected, of course this entry would have played out much nicely And true enough, it did play out well. Actually, the truth behind my entry for this EJ was actually I got a long over here. Yeah, I got long exactly at 85550, but then price went back down after it went up a little bit. Let me try to because I got a mouse. Yeah, it went up and then it drowned to touch my BE because I set myself to break even very fast. So after which I saw that the potential for price to actually move up is still there. So which is why I had my second entry, which still gave me a 2 pips SL from 85560 with my SL being 85540. So that's it for my entry. I'm actually eyeing for the TP all the way up to let me see, all the way up to this area. Bear in mind the equal highs that was being formed over here. This was an entire order block. So this would be my TP1, this is my TP2. Reason being for this also because I honestly I never use trend lines, but I just drew the trend line to understand the perspective of how a retail trader would actually view the market, so that I can actually use it as an edge for me to actually trade against the majority of retail traders. So which is why I had this line drawn out lah when I was discussing about this particular trade with Kiran last night. So yeah, so I can actually foresee this happening because this was also an area of supply was formed here with a point of interest within that area. So this will give me a pretty solid risk to reward ratio of about, oh my god, I can see here. Yeah, 1:81. It'll definitely be a long swing, that's for sure, but it's something that I would be willing to hold. So it seems to be playing out nicely at this point of time. Same goes for EU. Actually, I had an EU re-entry somewhere around this zone. Like basically, right now I have three positions on EU. Okay, that's it for EU and EG. EG is a very straightforward and understood. It's a very straightforward setup lah. Understanding supply and demand and points of interest. So if you jump over to where is it, Euro JPY. Where is it? Okay, over here. Euro JPY, USD JPY. Okay, so as of now, USD JPY seems to be a very messy pair. But what I can see here, because if you were to see um, USD is gonna drop right for this period of time, like you can actually see that this USD JPY is also gonna follow along. But as to where we could have gotten an entry, right, was I was actually viewing this as an entire schematic, and this actually seen as hold on, this is actually seen as give me 1 minute. This is actually an uptrust after distribution, meaning the schematic has come to an end. But I actually doubt that the entry might be here. I'm actually seeing that it might come all the way up to here because this is also another extreme area of interest if we jump to the bigger time frame. Yeah, somewhere around here. Because there's still a hell lot of weeks. I mean, it's on a daily time frame, and the fact that the week is quite long, right? We can actually, let me show you. You can actually see that a week fill is needed. At the same time, within this week, there's points of interest that needs to be mitigated before it can actually start its downward move. So that's my outlook on USD GPY. And as of now, let's see if USD CAD is actually giving a nice setup. Okay, I'm not entirely too well versed in trading USD CAD because this is actually my first time taking entries on USD CAD or even like planning out entries here. So what I see is that price could either bounce up here from an area of demand that got brought back if that got basically spotted out through multiple time frame analysis from here. An area of demand over here with which was where an order block got created. So since it didn't get respected, right, we can see the next level, an area of demand somewhere here, which if we go to the, I believe was it a 4-hour time frame. Hold on, let me try see, let me try spell it out. Yeah, correct. Yeah, correct. It's on a 4 hour or is it 1 hour? There was there was a candle here that shows some demand at that zone, so we can actually expect price to jump here and then rise or even potentially over here. But as of now, because USD CAD is not giving any nice setups, neither is it actually forming up really nicely for any. So I'm gonna stay out of USD CAD instead, possibly probably just keep eyeing on it lah. No entries being taken, but just eyeing on it. So right now I'm just on Euro USD and Euro GBP. So the last pair I'll be going through will be GBP USD. It's a very it's a very love hit pair honestly. I wanted to take an entry here, but then I was too busy. because I spotted this out as an area of demand. Because for this area of demand, it got actually really got touched by this candle. So I was expecting that this would have been touched by this entire move down, but I didn't get my entry here because as I said, I was busy. But it would have given a very nice entry lah, honestly. Very nice risk reward also with very small SL of like about 5 pips or so, right below the area of demand for the SL placement. So that's about it lah. For the TP place, for the TP, correlated with Euro USD and the movements of DXY to actually see how far we can actually stretch the take profit for GBUSD. But other than that, that'll be all. And I'll be passing the share screen over to Stiran. Stiran, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Right. Okay, so I'm actually done with my side lah. Okay, I will pass it over to you, alright?
Okay.
Alright, okay. Stop
By
sharing.
the way, if you guys got any question or pairs, you can just put it down in the chat below.
Alright. I'll make you co-host.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, can you see my screen now?
Yeah, can.
Okay, so still looking forward to gold. There's a lot of mixed news towards gold actually because gold is currently very fundamental, as we know of how it usually used to be. So generally, when I trade gold, I use technical analysis, but I would usually try to lean towards the fundamentals matching my technicals most of the time when it comes to gold. As I look for big swing momentums. So okay, looking forward into gold, right? Okay, gold generally I don't recommend using like trying to scale from a smaller time frame, as a bigger time frame will tell you more stuff, in my opinion. But okay, so now looking at gold, we are touching area of supply. This small area of 4 hour supply zone that is listed over here. And all we have to do now is see how this price rejects this supply zone. Because if this price rejects this supply zone properly, then we are able to see a nice curve that will look something like this. The downside, stepping to the downside. Yeah. So because I still feel that there's a lot of liquidity in these areas that has to be collected. So hence I would still lean towards the downside despite the news saying that we are looking towards a 1800 momentum. But apart from that news saying 1800 momentum, if we look at the US 10 Treasury bonds, right? So this thing that I've been always talking about, the US 10 bonds. Let me see if I can find the bond thing. Okay. US 10-year yield. Yeah, I think it's the other one. Yeah, this one. Okay, so basically, from this thing, this is actually the US 10-year bond that we can look to see how DXY and gold and everything will actually correlate in order to this. Okay, this week we actually have a lot of high impact news coming. So I'm expecting to see a lot of volatility in terms of the 10-year yield, gold and many other pairs as well. So now as we can see, we are approaching other supply areas of this 10-year yield bond. But what we're optimally looking at is a psychological number of 2.00 to touch. So this 2.00 touch will actually give us a good strength to break this high. So once we are breaking this high, right, we have a good area to push to the upside to recover more of the US currency. Or should I say, in terms of the economy over there. Yeah, so this recovery will actually cause gold to crash. And notice how gold hasn't really like shown any proper breakout here or whatsoever. Yeah, it's because it's actually preparing. We don't know for sure whether it's ready to the upside or the downside. In terms of what's going to happen to the USA. But for now, sticking to analysis wise, I would still like to see gold reject this area of supply. If you want to refine it more, you can. Like you can refine it until here, but I'll be sticking to the higher time frame for now. Okay. Yeah, I'll be sticking to higher time for now, but let's just do a refining for the sake of getting a cleaner SL, I feel. Okay, so if we go into the 15-minute chart, maybe we can find the area. Hang on. Yeah, because Go has too many supplies currently ranging in this zone, but that's why I'm not very confident to actually give you a trade on Go at the moment. But if you are really swing trading or what, then probably you can do this. But if you want a proper supply zone, okay, so one supply area will be here, right here, this zone here, which is also currently rejecting. This will be the more refined one. So it'll be sort of a 30 pip SL. Otherwise, yeah, I don't want to force anything. I don't want to force anything another one will be right over here, but it's probably the same level as that. Yeah, this area over here. Because I've already checked the other time frames before this call, and it's not really giving me a good confirmation in the smaller time frames as well. So I don't really want to force it. But if you really want to take this trade, then the trade will look something like this. It will look something like this. Then all get in the bottom here. Yeah, it's a big SL, not my thing. Although risk to reward is decent 1 to 8 for day trade, but I feel that there can be definitely much more better entries on Go. So this is just a Go idea to the downside. A break above this level, here would be pushing it up to our next supply zone of this area, which is the 1765 regions. Yeah. So that's what we're looking at. But currently coming into 8:30, we are still rejecting top there, so don't have to worry too much. Although the tides might switch later on at 9 o'clock, because there's another fake out session. Yeah, I think for swings, just to go over what Budi said, this trade, this Euro GBP trade that was given by Budi is a pretty good swing to consider the idea just now. So in terms of swing, this will be good. GJ as well. Okay, so GJ, right, coming to GJ, a very disgusting pair that has been bullying for the past few weeks very heavily. Okay, so we've actually broken, clearly we've broken above this zone. I took a long here and I took a long here, these two areas. So this one has been broken. So what we have to do now is exactly replicate this entire thing right here. So if you see this, right, if we draw at this double top here, if you want to call it a double top, if we draw this thing, right, we can see that this exact pattern, like if you see, right, this exact pattern over here, this double top, couldn't break over, crash, and then slowly climb back up. Yeah, it's going to happen here as well. So a buy position, next buy position that will be clear to look for will be these areas over here, like right below here will be a nice buy. Yeah, to head to the next long position right about there. Nice 1 to 17, 1 to 18. Yeah, provided it breaks this high. So you can try your first trade over here, the next break of the high. So this break of the high will be a break, collection of liquidity and other order block areas inside the area. So collect the liquidity from the break and then shoot to the other side. So here will be where you can actually place the second long position after the liquidity collection has been done. Yeah, if you are willing to stack your positions, but make sure your first position is break even as well. If you're stacking the second position maybe you can aim a higher TP on the bigger time frame, which will be okay, so which will be on the bigger time frame, which will be right about here, this high here, or this high here will be very possible. Yeah, for the next high, because I think, yeah, looking at how the bullish momentum is, right, if the thing breaks here, I think we'll visit the second and third high as well. So not very impossible, but it's really due for a correction, in my opinion. It's really due for a correction. Yeah, so we're looking at 155. If you're going for a swing, if you're going for day trade, then just in each level, in each of the levels for day trade. Yeah, don't be too greedy with the day trade, because day trades can go through a lot of corrections as well. Before the next momentum, before the next push up. So what I mean by that, right, is that you can actually see But we can actually do this, like go up here, maybe like not even here, TP halfway, go up, do this kind of like a healthy price action stuff for day trade. So you don't want to aim your day trade TP too far unless you're swinging. Yeah, but final TP, I think very possible to reach the 153 or even the 155 regions for this pair. Okay, but okay, just personally at the moment, right? I feel that where we are at, okay, because remember this thing gave us a lot of problem trying to trade it. So maybe my opinion will not be actually trading from here if you're a very conservative trader, but actually to trade from here instead. So right now, right, this zone that we have here, I would actually call it a no trade zone. Yeah, for now, since it's like going up and down in the middle of the range, so probably if you're patient enough, wait for a break to the upside. Actually, this is a type of scalping method, I would say. It's not a scalping method. So you wait for the break to the upside, wait for a possible pullback to create liquidity from the break, and then shoot for a healthy first action to the upside. Yeah, that will be a safer trade. If you don't want to get caught over here, like just how we got caught over here, this constant range of candle with long wicks that took us up. Yeah, so that will be it for Go and GJ. Okay, let's see what else I can cover. Is there any questions that or any pairs that you guys want me to cover as well? So, oh yeah, one more. GA. Okay, GA, very rangy pair, but very good for swings. Okay, why I'm introducing a lot of swings right now, right, is because of this week being a very high volatile week. So day trades might be affected maybe from Wednesday onwards. So I would recommend some swings in here as well. So okay, so we are now currently approaching area of supply on the daily time frame in this zone. So yeah, you want to refine it very possible this good in a small time frame, find the exact same similar setup. But now I'll be talking about the daily time frame first before we refine anything. So what the trade will look like is I want to see similar to Go. Yeah, similar to Go. This setup right here, coming up right here, giving us this supply. So the next supply will be next big supply will be somewhere over there, I guess. Somewhere over there or somewhere even here. Yeah, here even just about 500 pips away. Yeah, but let's talk about this now since we haven't really broken the book or anything yet. So yeah, I would like to see a U-turn over here, or just supply back to the demand zone, and we will see where we can break from there. Yeah. This for GA swings. So yeah, GA swings. Hey bro, your mic very loud. I mean your
Okay,
background
sorry. My bad.
very loud. Okay, so yeah, so this is where I'll be looking at for potential reversal for GA after these areas to create liquidities in the bottom areas here and probably here as well. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure this GBP AUD bull run was because of gold crashing. They are correlated in a way because gold is very correlated with the Australian dollars. So it's not 100% correlative, but whenever gold falls in price, the Australian economy falls as well because Australia is one of the reserves area for gold, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, so they actually correlate in terms of the economy. Yeah, so if gold drops in value, then Australian currency also drops in terms of how economically stable they are in terms of their commodities and assets. Yeah, so GPAUD swings will also be a very good short position to take right about here. SL I think will be refined later on because I have to see where it actually rejects properly. So if you check maybe in a smaller time frame, refining this SL, right? I think over here. So this is a 4 hour, correct? So far will be there. If I refine further into the 1 hour time frame, then you'll probably give me somewhere about here even. Yeah, so yeah, this will be a bit SL since it's a swing on GPAUD. So I'm looking for an even more final stop loss, right? Hang on. Okay, you know what? My graph just glitched. Yeah, but Yeah, but I don't think you want to be too greedy on AUD, GA AUDs SL. Yeah, because of how rangy this pair is, you can actually range a lot before actually potentially dropping. So long it was somewhere around here that the trade could have been taken. Yeah, and you aim I think about 500 pips down. Yeah, 500 pips down back to this area of demand or other points of this area so you correct liquidity. You can slowly drag it as you go by. Yeah, but a possible film through of this pair. So just extend this up. Yeah, but Euro AUD, let me think about anything. No, I don't trade this pair. So I thought I saw a good setup earlier, but I wouldn't share it because inexperience with the pair. Other than that, yeah, other than that, pretty much yeah. So GG, GA and Go. Yeah, GJG and Go.
Yeah, bro, go
And
through Euro NZD lah. Or you want me to go through?
Euro NGD, yeah.
Yeah, Euro NZD. Someone in the chat asked.
Oh, Euro NGD. Okay, yeah. Okay, Euro NGD. I used to trade this pair a lot. This pair similar to GA and Euro AUD, right? Okay, this pair will be very nice to trade usually with Euro AUD. Quite correlatively in terms of structure wise. But okay, this pair is a very dangerous pair to hold overnight. Your SL is very tight, firstly. Okay, so what we can already see here.
Alright, so we are back in.
Okay, yeah, sorry for the disconnecting thing as usual. Always happens. Okay, so coming back to Euro NG. Okay, give me a while. I need to actually do this chart because I don't trade this pair these days. Okay, so what I see on the daily time frame is this thing, this area over here that can be corrected. I assume some sort of order block happened over there. Yeah, some sort of order block. Let me go into a smaller time frame to see what's up with the area. Okay, yeah, so as you can see, if you find this right, this will be the demand zone that pushed us up back to this price. And where are we heading now? We are probably heading to a supply area over here. Yeah, a supply area over here. So, okay, for now, personally, right, I feel that it's quite dangerous to enter a trade in Euro NTD because it's in the middle of the supply and demand zone. Like you see, it's in the middle of this and this. Yeah, so it's quite hard. It's quite sandwiched in between to the point where it's hard. But if we look further down, right, there's actually a smaller supply zone that's over here that can be looked at for actually going shorts in this pair. So the lookout of this pair will be something like this. Yeah, if it actually rejects this supply zone properly to collect liquidity in these zones, which actually makes sense a lot because if you can see, right, there's a lot of liquidity in these areas right now after this bull. So this bull actually caused a VFG, fair value gap, yeah, from the demand zone. And it consolidated here, trying to range, looking for a breakout, but I just assume that it will actually reject this supply because it went above the supply, came back down, and maybe we'll probably look to reject the supply zone before potentially falling below back to the demand zone, before potentially moving higher. Yeah, to actually grab liquidity from this zone before moving higher in prices. Yeah, but generally for euros, I believe that this is the year of the euros as well. The euros seem to be pretty strong. And if you look at the monthly time frame or the weekly time frame, most euros are in a very crucial position in terms of where they are in the market. You see, they are at very crucial demand levels or supply levels in the market. So right here will be, I would expect maybe like if you want to be price action all about it, I would expect price action to maybe follow this and maybe give us a representation of what can happen to the euros. Yeah, in this sense, based on the monthly time frame. Yeah, so Euro NZD shorts for now, bullish later. Shorts is just to clear, like if you're talking day trade, right? I would say shorts is just to clear the liquidity that we have formed in this entire region below. So yeah, so if you were to refine this supply zone, right, you will look something like this, or something like this, and then where you actually short it from is from the rejection of the supply zone that looks like this, and then we will aim it right above like that. Yeah, aiming all these bottom areas. So I'm expecting a move up and return back down here. To collect all these liquidity regions. Before going potentially higher, after touching here, keeping this demand zone, we will see a possible price rejection at the demand zone to collect liquidity from falling down, to collect liquidity up and hit the next supply breaking even higher to collect more liquidity above. Because it's done collecting liquidity in this zone already when that move happens. So to answer your question, short for now, bullish later. Yeah, that will be all for Euro NZD.
GCAT, actually, honestly, GCAT looks quite nice for longs left.
GCAT.
Yeah, someone in the comments asked.
Okay, GCAT. Wow, you're asking a lot of swing pair. Very interesting. Okay, GCAT. Okay, just give you heads up. GCAT, GNZD and GChef, chef, Swiss thingy. Yeah, GChef. They are very known for swings. So consider swinging them if you are a swing trader. But GPCAB. Okay, let's see. Again, I don't trade this pair. I've traded it very long ago. Actually, not ago. Let me clear everything first. Okay, so what do we have? We have a bullshit moment of ranges. See, this is why I don't trade this pair. Look at the range, man. Which is scary to trade this range. Yeah, but now I would think this is a very bearish engulfing. So if I were to look in the 4 hour, Buddy, you any idea about this pair? I would think, right? Okay, hold on. Let me plot some stuff first. Okay, let's plot some stuff.
Yeah, if you want me to share my screen, I don't mind, by the way.
Okay, hang on. Yeah, to me this just looks like an entire big range, but I would think bearish actually to fill up liquidities in this zone. Because we haven't actually break above here yet. So I wouldn't say anything for longs, and since we have this thing over here that is filling up this candle, so I feel that prices, the daily candle was already so bearish, right? If you look at the daily time frame, since daily candle was already so bearish, I would think that there'll actually be a breakthrough in this zone here. Yeah, it's not even showing like any signs of weakness at this point. So yeah, I would think very possible. TP1 will be over here. TP1 will be over here, and TP2 will be at the bottom here. Yeah, for GCAT. But not very advisable to trade this now. Yeah, since it's starting the range. Yeah, that's my opinion on this pair.
Good. Do you want me to share my thoughts on GCAT? I do have a few things I want to point out.
Yeah, okay. Actually, there's a lot of things to point out about GCAT, but overall, I just feel it's not a safe trade to take. Yeah, but I feel after touching the area below, right, it will actually go bullish after fighting the liquidity. So, yeah. Hey, Budi, you're muted.
Okay, sorry. My bad. Okay, so let me just repeat. Basically, there's a liquidity grab over here that was that was formed to actually collect liquidity from here and here. At the same time, touching an area of demand at this that was formed at this area lah. So after touching so, it actually continued the uptrend, the upwards move lah. And so after that, as you can see here, there's a long wick that showed bearish intention, and that was what price actually did. Apart from this long wick, you can actually see there's a big imbalance that here that there's a big imbalance that needs to be filled, and that was what this candle actually, these few candles actually did lah on the 4 hours time frame. So after doing so, after filling it up, what we can see here is a potential wipe up schematic that we'll actually have to jump to the small time frame to spot out. It's not exactly the cleanest of them all, but based on what I see, we do need to use a few time frames to actually, yeah, I would lean more towards longs lah. And if the longs would be taken, it will be somewhere. Let's see.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's kind of missed out already.
Small shots for now, then longs later, right? The longs will be a bigger, like much bigger RR, right?
Yeah, I would have actually. Yeah, if only I actually saw this pair earlier, I would have taken a long exactly at this week over here. After the break of structure on the 15 minutes time frame, you might SL right below here, meaning something like this. Probably just some refining that needs to be done lah. Or my TP will be stretched all the way above lah. But this was the setup that I'll be eyeing out for. It's definitely longs lah. I'll definitely be looking for longs. TP I won't be too hopeful and stretch too far. I'll probably just target over here. Yeah. Where the imbalance is filled perfectly. So yeah, it gives about one. Oh shit, it's a 1:9. It's disgusting. But yeah, it definitely require a lot of refining within these zones to actually get a much better RR. But it's definitely long for now lah. That's what I'm aiming for. Not too far, not too ambitious on the TP. Just this exact setup.
Yeah, and if you
For
see why
GBK.
this SL placement is slightly below the structure, right, it's because there's actually liquidity potential to be grabbed in that area as well. So they might play around near the SL zone before actually shooting potentially higher. That's the worst case scenario.
Yeah. So what we can actually see, the reason why I actually was eyeing out for this, right, was because, example, if you go into the 4 hour time frame, right, this was an area of demand that was created on the smaller time frame. At the same time, some wicks that was some point of interest that was created inside this zone lah. So bearing in mind the amount of buys that was taken from so-called, hold on, from let me open it up. Yeah, bearing in mind the amount of buys that was taken from the retail's perspective of this being a support, they definitely got taken out. The SLs got taken out for those whose SLs were below here or even below this zone. So after the collection of liquidity, we can actually see a schematic that formed, which is exactly what happened. And then we can see price rising up back to fill up the imbalance here before actually potentially drowning further. Yeah. Yeah, correct. That's what I see lah. Because apart from this being a liquidity gap, we can actually this could actually potentially also be break of structure. So we can see price moving down to somewhere, because apart from this being break of structure or liquidity grab, right, this week itself, right, shows intention to the market, right, that it wants to drown further. So we can actually take that into consideration from past data, right, that the price can actually drown further lah. So that's all I'm gonna do. I don't want to leak too much information. But yeah, that's about it. And yeah, so that's my outlook on GCAP. Short, longs for short term and short for long term. Yeah, correct. Basically, buy for short term, sell for long term. Yep, that's it. It's actually pretty nice, bro. I think I might take it though. Shit, like legit. I might just take the shots from this point
Bro,
onwards.
the demand area, right, looks damn convincing, now that I see it.
Like I might probably take a shot from here.
The supply zone, right?
Yeah. Let me just draw it here. The imbalance. Eh? What the hell? Oh, it's damn hard to use without mouse. Yeah, from this point on.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm probably take a shot here. Something like this. But I'll see how price reacts out within throughout the week. I think might form up this week though. My
Yeah.
SL just right. Oh shit, it's so disgusting. I think I might refine. 0 1 hour time frame. Not nice. Probably need to jump down to small time frames. Let me just.
Or because there area is a range, that's why it's very hard to define it.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
I think you go 5 minutes, I think it.
It's very hard, bro. Legit, I'm using my what do you call it, my mouse, yeah. My mouse touchpad.
Trackpad.
Yeah. Yeah. Rabak, bro, serious. Okay, but either way, this is a setup that I'll probably be eyeing out for lah. I'll take the end of this week. Shit. Right here. It's gonna be one hell of a swing, that's for sure. Because number one, feeling of imbalance at the same time mitigation, and then there will be a weak feel that needs to be filled below here. So those are the actually this is a pretty nice setup. The one is the 23, quite a big SL in my opinion, because my SLs are usually about two pips, 3 pips, 5 pips, or even 10 pips max. This is 13 pips. So I don't really like the SL, but considering the fact that firstly it's a swing, secondly it gives a really good risk to reward ratio, and the setup is pretty promising. Bearing in mind the bearish intentions from the long wicks, right? I'm actually leaning more towards this setup lah, and I'm pretty sure that it'll play out this way. If the entry is flawed, then so be it. But I'm very sure that price will revisit this area because a weak fill is very much needed for this particular pair at this point. Yeah, so that's my outlook on GBP CAD. Yep. Any other price that you want us to go through? If there's okay, so if there's no other pairs that you guys want us to go through, then okay, Skiran, do you want to tell them what we discussed last night?
Yeah, so what you mean
Just
the
two of
feedback
them.
thing, is it?
Uh,
Yeah,
Sorry?
okay. Since it's just
Yeah.
two of you here, I'll relay the message. I'll relay the message to the group also. But just the two of you here, if you guys feel that all these Monday insights has been helpful to you all into understanding that the markets and something like things like that more clearer, right? Because we give it more publicly. Maybe you can just leave us a feedback like DM either Budi or me from the group, and then just give us like a small feedback to help us fill out our portfolio.
Yep.
Yeah,
It'll be very much appreciated. And we'll post it on Instagram. So if you guys don't want your name to be shown, right, then just let us know. But if you guys don't mind, then we'll just feel free to show it to the public. We'll appreciate it a lot.
Yeah, and also
Yeah.
April intake is currently still open, and we are left with 15 days to closing the intake. Yeah, so if you guys are interested, you can also DM us from the same group and contact us. Enquiries all also are welcome.
Right. Okay. So at this point of time, wait, let me see. Someone put it in the chat. Questions. Okay, no problem, man. Okay, so before we end the call, right? Now it's
Yeah.
about 9 p.m. So I believe Kiran has to leave soon. But before he leaves, do you guys have any questions that you guys want to bring up, or any sort of last minute pairs that you guys want me to go through? I'll give it about 3 minutes until 9:05. If there's nothing, then I will just proceed on with the ending of this session lah. I think you covered everything I wanted to ask you. So thanks, man.
No
Alright, sure.
problem.
Thank you so much, man. Thanks for your attendance. Okay, so apart from that, okay, who is it? We got it. Okay, Benjamin. If Benjamin has nothing. Alright, okay, just the both of us, bro. Okay, you enjoy your time, bro. Keep hard.
Okay, take care.
Alright, Charles. Bye bye.
See you, bro. Ciao. Bye.